What is up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video on Lex. It's a different setup as per usual. We are actually using a different streaming technique to record this video for today. But today I wanted to use this time to predict what I think is going to be happening with the championship playoffs. And this could potentially be a future approach that I would do when I'm predicting games rather than using FIFA, of course. So this is going to be my new approach. If you really like how I've done these preview and predictions and you want to see this approach for future predictions in the future, let me know in the comments down below, and please smash that like button as well if you're confident that your team can get through to the playoffs. Please make sure you leave your predictions in the comments down below because I'll be very interested to see what everyone is thinking. But today we're going to cover the two playoff games, Huddersfield, Luton, and of course Sheffield United and Nottingham Forest. It's going to be two very close games, I think, but without any further ado, let's start going through one by one what I think will happen in the first leg of the Championship playoffs. So the game in the first leg is Luton going up against Huddersfield, 6th versus 3rd place, of course. This game, we couldn't have actually really predicted it, especially with how things were looking 2 weeks ago. But Forest, for the fact that they did not win their last two games and Huddersfield just kept winning their games, they won their last two. That means that Huddersfield overtook Forest in points and they snatched 3rd place for them, and they play Luton, which for me on paper I think are the weakest of the teams in the top 6. If we look at the championship table here, if we look at the overall standings, and let's actually look at all of the teams in the top 6. So when you look at Huddersfield, you're seeing 64 goals scored, 47 conceded. And then when you compare that, 63 goals scored by Luton and 55 conceded. Luton have scored the joint less goals out of all the teams in the top 6 alongside with Sheffield United. And goals conceded, as you can see, 55 goals is by far the most. But Huddersfield have also conceded the second most with 47. So both these defences are a little bit more open than the other two. I mean, it's probably because both of these teams have conceded at least 5 goals in their game, and in Luton's case, they conceded 7 very recently to Fulham. And could that 7-0 defeat to Fulham come at a really bad time for them? It was a defeated performance. It really showed basically how stretched the squad was, and with the injuries that they got, I mean, the amount of yellow cards there, error leading to goal as well by Musquet there, as you can see. So it really didn't go right at all for Luton in that game. But Huddersfield, if you look at their form, it is absolutely brilliant. So Huddersfield are the in-form team with 16 points collected in their last 6 games. Now, the home games, I think, are going to be key. So if you noticed, Huddersfield, but also Luton, are right up there when it comes to form. Luton only 1 defeat in their last 6, picking up 11 points. Huddersfield picking up 13, also only 1 defeat in their last 6. Obviously, that defeat coming 3-0 against Bournemouth there. So I think for both teams, their home games are going to be so important. Now, with other stats as well, that's really clear. Head-to-head stats. So 5 out of 5 occasions against these teams, we've seen less than 2.5 goals. So it suggests that it's going to be a low-scoring game. More than 4.5 cards, 4 out of 5 occasions. So low scoring, very scrappy, a lot of passages of play being broken up by fouls. Less than 10.5 corners is disappointing though, because I think Luton and Huddersfield have got to strengthen set pieces. They both really need to try and attack their opposition with those set pieces there. Now, in terms of both of those teams' forms, we just briefly touched on it, but Luton, 6 out of their last 7 games, they've scored less than 2.5 goals, sorry. So that means the goals have dried up a little bit, but we'll look in a minute with their injury crisis, because it's definitely notable that it's to do with that. But first to score, 4 out of 5 occasions, which is encouraging, and less than 10.5 corners, 7.8. But what's interesting with Huddersfield here, 4 wins out of their last 5, unbeaten, so no losses, in their last 7, and then first to score, 7 out of 7. So you got first to score, 4 out of 5, and then 7 out of 7 there for Huddersfield. So both these teams really like to start early and really get a good goal. And first half winner is also interesting as well for the playoffs, because when it stays 0-0 for so long, you know, the game can drag on, feel a bit cagey. But first half winner 5 out of 5 times. So if Huddersfield continue that and they score early in this game, they have had it in them before to hold on to that lead, which I have actually previously criticised that they've not been able to do so before. But that stat especially for me is very, very encouraging. So what we're looking at here now is the head-to-head record between these two teams. So let's go to Kenilworth Road, because that is what we're going to ultimately be looking at. It ended 0-0 last time. So as you can see, Amari Bell hitting the woodwork there, 1 yellow card for Reed there. O'Brien for Huddersfield getting man of the match, a 3-4-1-2 versus a 4-4-2. So definitely Luton, what they're trying to do is spread the play, go out wide, try and go ahead of the likes of Koroma and Toffolo. But clearly the wide players for Huddersfield, whilst they're not as wide as the likes of James Bree and Amari Bell, they had a really good defensive performance, and clearly Lees and Sarr put in a great performance too. But possession wise, you know, we're seeing look at 14 shots to 9, 5.8 to 44.2. I think that suggests to me, looking at that attack momentum there, especially in the second half, Luton were the better team. So that makes things very, very interesting. Now let's go into our preview, which I think is going to make things very interesting. Okay, so we've got Ingram in goal over there, which I do expect. A 3-5-2 there. So Naismith, Bradley, Burke. That seems a bit realistic for what I can see with Bree, Lansbury, Clark, Campbell and Bell, with Cornick and Jerome. So still no Adebayo, it looks like. There was a couple whispers that maybe he could recover by playoffs, but looks like he won't be back in the first leg indeed. I mean, look at this. This is ultimately what has killed Luton's season, really, was their injuries. Kioso, Ruddigan Pansu, Onyedema. He did pick up an injury very, very recently, actually. I think it was Fulham where he got off injured very quickly. Berry, Shea, Osso and Steer. I mean, 2 goalkeepers there as well. With Huddersfield, got Nichols and goal, Toffolo, Levi Colwell, Lees, Turton, Russell, Hogg, O'Brien. So Hogg and O'Brien starting to go over with Russell there. Sinani, Ward and Dwayne Holmes as the front 3. Now that's very interesting there. Sorba Thomas still out, but maybe he could recover. Unless maybe at least go on the bench, or if he doesn't, maybe he can play in the second leg. Sheffield, Pearson out. Obviously he's been out for quite some time, and Vallejo out as well. So the website predicted 1-0 Huddersfield, which is very, very interesting, really. I mean, we've not even looked at the team's away form, but let's actually quickly do that. So if we go to form and away. So Huddersfield, look at this, in their last, 6 games, they've been the best away team with 4 wins out of 6. You know, they've been the only side in the Championship to have that away form, actually. And, you know, we don't need to look at Luton because Luton are playing at home for the first game, but with their away form, it's 3 wins. So to be fair, their form's been relatively good. But what I definitely see in the lead up to this game, that both teams really, really need to capitalise on their home form. Luton, especially with them being the underdogs, definitely need to get something here. As a prediction for me in the first leg, it even wouldn't surprise me to see it's been a low scoring game. I'm going to go... I actually might agree with what WhoScored.com is saying. I'm actually going to go for a very narrow 1-0 away victory to Huddersfield, with them having the best away form in the last 6 games at least. And I think the injury problems are definitely going to make this squad for Luton very, very stretched. But I think it'll be very, very cagey. I don't think there'll be much to go across, which, you know, we can suggest from the last game at Kenilworth Road. And, of course, the latest stats between the teams. But that is my prediction. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. So the other playoff game to predict is Sheffield United versus Nottingham Forest. 2 Titans against each other. I think this is going to be a really good game. In terms of previous results, nothing could separate those 2 teams at all. If you see here, in their last 2 games, it has ended 1-1. So let's look at the recent one with Sheffield United and Forest at Bramall Lane, since this is the one we're going to be looking at. Sharp taking the lead, but then looking at a 94th minute equaliser. I think I briefly remember it. James Garner, Ryan Yates just about holding something to keep their well, at the time, automatic promotion hopes alive with that equalising goal. Yeah, I remember it well. 3-5-2 versus a 3-4-1-2 there. So if you look at stats there, I mean, look at that. Fotheringham, even with a penalty save as well. That's a huge, huge moment in that game too. So Fotheringham was having his penalty success form in that time as well. Morgan Gibbs White with the assist. And I think those two really are, you know, the best two players in Sheffield United going forward. But Sharp, I think, will still be injured. Gibbs White, though, will be the key player. But it looks like it was Brennan Johnson that missed the penalty. So he definitely would not want to be doing that if he gets the opportunity against Sheffield United again. It looks like Steve Cook also had a shot off the post as well. So it looked like a really good game. Look at that, actually. If you see the momentum, just about edging Forest. So if you see that, those were when the penalty incidents happened, you know, near around the first half. Sheffield United barely in the game, but then out of nothing, a couple of substitutes and a change of formation, and then all of a sudden, bang, which is Paul Eckingbottom analysing the game well, getting the goal, and then it was pretty even, and then right at the end, you know, goal right at the end. So this could definitely be another one of those ones where we could really get a goal out of nowhere, and I'm really, really hoping that's going to be the case with this game. In terms of form, as you can see with Forest, we've got 4 wins out of their last 6 games. With Sheffield United, 3 wins out of their last 6, but look at that, 3 wins in a row. They've been one of the informed teams going into the playoffs. So if you look at home, Sheffield United, 13, Forest, I mean, they've got the best home form there. Look at that. A flawless home record there, apparently, in their last 6 games. But away from home, where Forest are playing, they've not won their last 2. They are 3rd place in their last 6, but they've not won their last 2, losing to Bournemouth and drawing in the last minute against Hull City. And can that really set them, you know, mentally, you know, at a disadvantage to this game? Because Sheffield United, with their form right now, they'll be really confident. So a head-to-head, less than 2.5 goals. Oh dear, 5 out of 5. So once again, a game that doesn't necessarily see too many goals. More than 4.5 cards, 6 out of 7 times. So very similar with Luton, Huddersfield. Very scrappy, loads of breaks in play, cards. Now, Sheffield United have not lost their last 3. As I said, they won 3 in a row. But look at this stat from Nottingham Forest here. In terms of their head-to-head record, they've not had a clean sheet against Sheffield United in their last 3 games. So yeah, Sheffield United unbeaten against Nottingham Forest in their last 3. So these are their own stats: 3 wins in a row, no losses in their last 4 for Sheffield United, of course. Less than 10.5 corners, 4 out of 5. We've had a clean sheet, so this applies again with Nottingham Forest. We've had a clean sheet in their last 3 games. They have had scored 6 goals in those last 3 games as well. 5 of them came in one game, no, against Swansea. Less than 2.5 goals, 4 out of 5, and less than 4.5 cards, 4 out of 5. So interesting. So if this is the case, then potentially either Forest will contradict that stat, or most of the yellow cards are going to be going to around Sheffield United and Forest will get a load of ball, which actually could be the case. But it's interesting because both do like to play on the ball quite a fair bit in the game. But Steve Cooper would definitely adapt, you know, his side not to get the ball if it means that he can definitely break forward on the counter-attack, because Forest and Sheffield United, dare say, are very, very similar in that sense. And I think it's going to be a very similar game plan that both are going to be having. So, probable lineups, and we can see the injury problems as well, Sheffield United and Forest. So, definitely much more problems with Sheffield United, here. So, we've got Fotheringham, Robinson, Egan, Basham. We've got Osborne, Norwood, Fleck, and Stevens as the 5 there. Sanderberger in that number 10 role with Gibbs White and Ndiaye. So, obviously, in their 1-1 draw at their recent game, you know, at Bramall Lane, they had Billy Sharp there, but it looks like Ndiaye is going to have to be in that position because McGoldrick, Brewster definitely won't be back, and then Sharp still injured by the looks of things. O'Connell, Good, Bogle, and McBurney out as well. So they're very limited on striking options, but give it time, and if they do make it to the final, which I hopefully see one striker at least be available, because right now if Sheffield United concede and they need to chase the game, the pressure on Gibbs White and Ndiaye will be unbearable. For Forest, they've got Samba, Worrell, Cook, McKenna, Spence, Garner, Yates, Colback, Zinkernagel this time in the number 10 role. So an interesting competition between Zinkernagel and Berger there with Surridge and Johnson. So both, as you notice there, predicting a 3-4-1-2. Now that is very interesting. So I'm saying that there's a lot of similarities. We could really see a good amount of similarities in there. Also, what I will say about these two teams, they've had really similar seasons as well. Poor momentum, new manager, great momentum. So I think it's almost looking at a mirror image. So I think it's going to be very, very close. The website's predicting 1-1 like it has been in their last 2 games against each other, which I think is a very interesting shout. Personally, what I think may happen in this game for me, oh my days, it's so difficult. I would not be surprised to see Sheffield United edge this by 1-0 in the first leg, but in the second leg, Forest completely turn it on. I think I'm going to actually predict, because sometimes you get these playoff games and they completely throw a spanner in the works. I think because Forest, losing their last, well, not losing, but not winning their last 2 away games, and Sheffield United looking really good with their momentum, I'm going to edge them just about. Low scoring, as the stats suggest. I'm going to say 1-0 to Sheffield United. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. So guys, that wraps it up for my predictions for the 2 playoff games today. They should both hopefully be a fantastic game to go over. So which game do you think you're going to like to see the most? Do you like to see the Luton and Huddersfield game? Or are you going to want to see the Sheffield United and Forest game most? Let me know which game you're most excited for in the comments down below. But that wraps up. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please give the video a like. It does tremendously help the channel. Please do hit that subscribe button as we're trying to grow from 1.1k subscribers. I'll be appreciative. And please share this channel to as many people as you can. All of that really helps too. But that will wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are legendary for signing in this video. As always, I'll see you guys soon. Take care, everyone.